I made a shocking discovery today when I was hanging out over at MEUK's Discord server.
Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well, are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well, did you hear what I said? It's all about...
So, what was this particular debate about, Chunky?
A theodolite can't be used to measure a curve. Are you trying to say that curves don't exist in real life?
Chunky Butt Boy, write this down, will you? Write this down.
A curve has an infinite number of slopes, and you measure at a given tangent to a point.
So, Chunky Butt Boy, what are you confused about? You think somebody's measured the curvature of the Earth?
Hey, my boss, did you just say curves exist, or only a concept?
It appears so.
So he's going to
Are you
explain.
wearing your glasses? Your reading isn't very good.
Going to explain how he uses a theodolite to measure a curve. Then.
Nice.
No, you were going to explain why you can't use one to measure.
No, your claim is that you can use one to measure a curve. So off you go. Explain why.
Well, you use a grade rod.
You're very quiet, Chunky.
Who's Chunky? Who is Chunky?
You, innit?
Now, can you read?
Yeah, we're Chunky. We we say it with a different... We're British.
Oh. So you can't read English because you're British?
No, that's how we pronounce it.
What's
I
that?
see.
He's really quiet for me. Is he quiet for you?
Yeah, I think I've turned him up, but... Might be able to turn him up. No, I've got him up way up high. Turn him up, you might be able to hear him a bit better.
Have you got phone signal issues again, Chunky? Are you driving again?
Yeah, of course I am.
Of course you are.
Of course. Of course.
Of
I
course
said I was.
When did you say that?
When I'm on my way home.
Last time you were here. that you
Yeah.
said that.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Are you still driving from then?
Of course.
Of course.
Alright, you guys carry on. Let me know when you're ready.
Well, we're waiting for you.
Well, you can just start talking.
I'm waiting for you to explain how you use a theodolite to measure a curve.
A grade rod. And you put it on the points of the curve.
How you use one to measure a curve.
Put it on the thing that you're measuring. So let's say I'm measuring a curve in the road. I will put it at points along the road.
Now let's get
elevation
this
it is.
straight, right? You're not measuring a left to right curve. You're measuring an up and down curve. So a drop away from you.
Sure, you could do either with a grade rod.
I'm not interested in a left to right curve. How do you measure?
Why can't you do it front to back?
How do you
Same way
measure
as
a
left to
curve
right.
dropping away from you with a theodolite? Please, Chunky.
Who are you talking to?
You. Who else do you think I'm
Is
talking
this
to?
demasculated? Is this demasculated private?
Do you feel demasculated?
Sorry?
Do you feel demasculated?
I'm waiting for your answer, Chunky.
Oh, he was talking to you. You're demasculated. That's how we say it in Canada.
Wait a minute, what do you say in Canada?
Oh, he's just avoiding questions. The only reason he's come here is
So
to
you do
avoid
it the same
questions.
way. You use a grade rod. How do you measure curves?
How do you use a grade rod to measure a curve with a theodolite?
Point the theodolite in the direction you're trying to measure the curve. You put the grade rod at different points along the curve.
That's handy for you. You're cutting out again.
Bev, you know how this works, right?
Your signal is really rubbish, Chunky.
Yeah, because I'm on a cell phone. Do you want to explain that again? While I'm cutting out, you go and explain how it doesn't work.
Now I'm waiting for you to explain how you do it, but all we get is signal interference.
Did you hear when I said grade rod?
Yeah, and then I asked you to explain to me how you use a grade rod to measure a curve with a theodolite, and then all we got was your phone cutting out as usual.
Okay, so you don't understand how to do it with a grade rod?
I'm waiting for you to explain how you do it.
You point the theodolite in the direction you're trying to measure the curve. In this case, let's call it north to south. So you point the grade rod, the theodolite to the south, and you put the grade rod at different points and record those measurements.
Okay, so how does recording different points, how does that measure a curve?
Well, if you're measuring a road,
You have a
for
series.
example,
You have a series of points. You don't have a curve.
yes. And the elevation changes, and you plot that elevation change, plot a curve, then you're measuring a curve.
You're not measuring a curve. You're plotting a curve. You haven't
What are you doing
measured.
with
You haven't
theodolite,
measured a
Gina?
curve. You have plotted straight line points.
No, you measure the
You haven't.
elevation, and you plot those elevations, and it shows you that you're measuring a curve.
No, it shows you that you have plotted straight line elevations.
Then do it more times. Then take more
And it
measurements.
shows you that you have plotted more straight line elevations. It doesn't give you the measurements of a curve.
Really? So if
Yeah, really.
do roads,
really.
when roads go up a grade and then down a grade, do they meet at a peak, or do they
You
have
measure
a
a
gradual?
straight line elevation.
That's not my question, jackass.
That's all you can do.
Jackass. When a road goes up a grade, gets to the summit, and then goes down, does it meet at a peak, or is it a gradual leveling off and then it goes down again?
I haven't seen what elevation you're talking about, so how should I know?
Any road. Does any road go to a peak, or does it have a gradual leveling off and then down
Well,
again?
if you have a look at Soundley's Bridge, then yeah, roads go to a peak.
It's not a gradual leveling off. It goes to a point,
Well,
and your car bumps when it goes over it.
You have a look at Soundley's Bridge. The photograph of the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge that Soundley took, they look like they're peaks. So speak to Soundley about that one.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Okay, good for you.
No, good for Soundley. Soundley has just proved your point.
You can't measure a curve. If a road has a curve,
you can't measure a curve with a theodolite.
Then how do you measure roads? What would you use to survey a road?
You plot points. You plot points. Straight line points. Using a theodolite.
Straight line points. Are lines points?
You plot points on a straight line using a theodolite.
No, you plot points. And then you draw a line of best fit, which may be a curve.
Did I not just say you plot points?
And then you attach those points with straight lines?
Well, a theodolite,
when you plot them?
A theodolite is a linear direction, is it not?
Yeah. So when you
and
plot
points
straight
along
lines
that
like you're doing
linear.
Like you're doing a connect the dots, you use straight lines?
Oh, why are you so simple?
Well, you've done this, right? You're an expert, you said.
No, I never said I was an expert, but you don't need to be an expert to understand how a theodolite works, do you?
So how many times have you used the theodolite in a grade rod?
Oh, what does that have to do with anything? Your claim is that you can measure a curve using a theodolite, and you cannot measure a curve using. You can plot a curve, but you cannot measure a curve.
What are you doing then?
You're plotting a
When you-
curve.
Are
You're
you
not
taking
you're
grade
not
plots
measuring the
or
curve,
grade
are you?
measurements? Are you taking elevation points or elevation lines or elevation measurements?
You are plotting points in elevation from the horizontal.
Then you're not measuring them.
No.
Is the rod not graded? Have gradations on it that
Okay,
shows
you claim that
lengths?
you claim that you are measuring a curve using a theodolite, which gives you a horizontal plane.
A theodolite and a grade rod, yes. A theodolite
Okay.
and a grade rod.
So where is the center point of your curve to measure that curve?
What do you mean the center point?
You need the center point and the radius of that curve to measure the curve. Where are they?
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Really?
You need a center point and a radius of a curve to measure a curve.
No, you don't.
Okay, that's your claim.
No, you just made the claim that you needed it.
Well, how else do you measure a curve then?
Well, you can take a chord, bisect the chord.
A chord, so you still need a straight line within the circle of your curve.
No.
So you still
okay.
need the center
Sure.
point of your circle to give you the radius of your circle.
Which you can calculate.
Yeah, we're not talking about a calculation. We're talking about a measurement. You said
I'm talking about.
you can measure a curve using a theodolite, and you
Did
can't.
I say I was going to measure the radius using a
You
theodolite?
said you were going to measure the curve.
That's right, and I just
and you
explained
can't
how.
do it using a theodolite.
No, you can't do it using a theodolite.
We've
Bev
just
can.
established
I can.
you need the center point and the radius to measure a curve. You don't have
tell me
them.
why you need Tell me why you need the center point.
How else do you measure a curve? You need the center
just
point
told you
of
how.
your circle, but you still need the center point to get your chord measurement.
I can
You
measure.
still need to know the radius of your circle to get your chord measurement.
No, you don't. You can figure that out.
Which is a calculation, and we're talking about a measurement of a curve, not a calculated curve.
I'm not measuring the radius of the
Your
curve.
claim was that you can measure a curve using a theodolite, and you need the center point of the circle and the radius to give you the curve of the circle. You can't measure a curve with a theodolite.
First of all, not all curves are exactly they all will be a circle, but they don't need to have an equal
You
radius.
still need the center point of each curve to give you a radius to measure the curve. You can't do it using a theodolite and a straight line.
I'm using a theodolite and a grade rod.
And a straight line.
What straight line?
The straight line that your theodolite is giving you. Which one do you think I mean?
It's giving me to what? What is it looking at?
Your grade rod, you idiot.
Right, and what's the grade rod giving me?
Points. Plotted points.
What kind of points?
Which you need to calculate.
They're not plotted yet. No, I'm looking at. What am I looking at when I'm looking through the theodolite at a grade rod? What numbers am I telling the person who's logging at?
The numbers you see through the site.
Right, which are doing what?
They're giving you
What
points.
are they telling me?
Giving
They're
you
me
points.
No, they're not.
They are giving you points along the horizontal line of sight of the theodolite.
Points of what?
Points of reference.
Of reference of grade? Distance? What are they giving you?
Distance.
How do they give me distance?
You obviously don't know how to use a theodolite, do you?
The stadia what?
There you go.
Okay, so how do I measure distance?
You just answered that question yourself.
I don't have to calculate anything?
Why are you obfuscating? No, you know what the stadia lines do in the
Yeah.
right. So
So what do I do?
Why are you obfuscating?
So what do I do? Because every time I answer a question, you butt in and answer it. So how do I use the stadia lines or stadia hairs to get a distance?
No. We're not going down this route. Your claim is that you can measure a curve using a theodolite.
All right. So shut up for a second and I'll tell you how to do it.
You can't measure a curve using
Can
a
I
theodolite.
measure distance using stadia hairs?
Did you not just answer that question like 2 minutes ago? Is your memory
I
that
did,
bad
but you're going
that
to
you
forget
can't?
it in about a minute when I finish explaining it.
Is your memory that bad that you can't remember that you
No, I'm
actually
giving you a
answered
chance to
that
back
question?
out. I'm giving you a chance to back out because you're going to feel like
Why
a
do I
moron.
want to back
Oh,
out?
no, you probably won't. You probably won't. Never mind. So you know how to measure distance using stadia hairs, right? Because you've done it many times. Have you done it at least once?
Make your point.
Have you done it at least once?
Make your point.
You take the top number and subtract, which is a calculation, the bottom number, and multiply by 100, which is also a calculation. So am I measuring or am I calculating?
The measurement is given to you in the optics of the theodolite.
Was I wrong in how you get that number?
Was you wrong in how you get that number?
Yes, was I wrong on how I get that number?
I can't remember precisely, but that is an approximation of how you do that. I can't remember exactly how it's done.
How long's it been then?
Carry on with your obfuscation. Come on.
So is subtraction a calculation?
Is that a question for a 6-year-old?
Yeah, well, a 6-year-old would get it right. I'm wondering if you'll get it right.
Is a subtraction a calculation?
Is this? Sorry, is this a debate or like what? Are you helping your child with homework and you're hoping that DP can help?
You've already answered this question. You and I had a conversation. I think it might have been on.
Yeah, this sounds like a stupid question, right? Do you seriously not know the answer to that?
Yeah, it's a measurement, but it uses calculations to give you the measurement.
What you do?
No, I was particularly talking about your question about is subtraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take the top number and subtract the bottom number. Right?
You do. Yeah, I was asking about the question that you were asking. Seemed very childlike. Why were you asking such a silly question?
Listen, Bev, you know the Earth is a globe, but I don't think it does.
Who are you? Chunky. What are you talking about?
What shape is the Earth?
He's butt sore now because he can't back his claim.
Just trying to get out. I'll leave you back to it. Off you go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bev has already explained that he knows that it's a measurement. However, to get the measurement, you need to make calculations.
So what's your point?
Which is Is it a calculation or is it a measurement?
What's your point?
You said you can't use calculations, you have to use measurements. But when you use a theodolite, a grade rod, you are using calculations to get those measurements. That doesn't make them any less valid.
You have claimed that you can measure a curve using a theodolite.
And I explained how.
That is
and
bullshit.
Now you can explain how I can't. Now it's your turn, so go ahead and explain how you can't.
You need the center point of your curve and the radius to be able to measure the curve. Easy.
Nope, you can calculate it.
That is a calculation, it's not a measurement. Which bit of this don't you understand? Your claim was you can measure a curve using a theodolite. To measure a curve, you need the center point and the radius to measure that curve. Now you're saying that you want to be able to calculate that curve. That wasn't your original claim.
No, I'm measuring the curve. Then,
No,
if I want the center point, I can calculate that.
You're not measuring the curve. You're calculating the curve.
I'm measuring the curve, and then I'm
You're
calculating.
plotting points on a straight line and then calculating a curve from that. That's not measuring a curve now, is it? Even
What
you've
am I
got to admit
measuring
that. Even you've got to
So
admit
if
that,
I'm
Chunky.
measuring the road with a curve in it, I'm measuring straight lines, or am I measuring the road
You
that
are
has a curve?
plotting points along a straight line.
Not yet, I'm not plotting
Chunky.
it. No, I'm gathering the information. What am I doing when I'm gathering information?
Plotting
I'm taking
points.
measurements. I'm taking distance
plotting
and elevation
points.
measurements. I'm not plotting anything because when you did this, you didn't do it that way, did you? Did you plot the points before you got the measurements?
Well, you make the measurements and then you make a calculation to get your curve, don't you? You don't measure the curve.
No,
you can't measure
you
the
measure.
curve. You can't measure the curve with a theodolite, Chunky.
Okay, so explain to me how you measure a road. Survey a road that is going up a hill and then down. Go ahead.
What's this got to do with plotting, measuring a curve with a theodolite? Has your signal gone again? Bev, are you there?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm here. Is he gone? He's gone green.
Is his signal gone again?
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
could be. It's convenient, he does this quite a fair bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Lucky he doesn't live in Saskatchewan where you can watch your dog run away for a week.
Chunky Butt Boy doesn't know what differential leveling is.
Oh man.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I did this.
No, he's
like,
dropped.
Yeah. You see, you need. Oh, here we go. I don't want to give it away and let him know. He obviously needs. Oh, he's gone solid green again. Oh.
So did you miss the question?
I think you've missed a whole load of stuff has just gone over your head, hasn't it?
Okay, so somebody asks you to survey a road for practice because you need some, and the road has a curve in it because it's going up a hill and then down. What tools do you need to measure it, and how are you going to measure it?
The question for you, Chunky Butt Boy, was how
Who
do
the
you
fuck is
measure
Chunky Butt
a
Boy?
curve
What
using
grade are you in,
a
DP?
theodolite?
What grade are you in, DP? That's a question for you.
How do you measure a curve using a theodolite?
I just explained it. You're too stupid to understand it. So you tell me what tools you would use to measure the curve in the road.
Chunky,
Oh,
Go ahead.
dude, come on.
Chunky, listen.
Ev, shut up.
Chunky, listen. The question to you
DP,
is,
listen.
how
The
do
question
you
to
measure
you
a
is,
curve
how do you
using
measure a
a
curve?
theodolite?
And I explained it, so you're going to
No,
tell me
you
how to do it the
haven't.
correct
No,
way.
you haven't. All
You're going
you've
to tell me
done
how to do
is
it the correct way,
obfuscate.
DP.
All you've done is
DP, tell me how to
obfuscate.
do it. DP, tell me how to do it the correct way. Oh, you have to go, don't you?
Do I?
I don't know. Do you? When do you have to go? I have about 20 minutes left.
You that's going to lose signal and keep
No,
running
I'm going to
away.
hang up on you in about 20 minutes.
Because you're not going to answer the question that was set to you.
I did, but obviously I'm wrong. So I make
is
my
that
statement
you can
without being
measure a
interrupted, but you're an
curve
interrupting
using
cunt.
a theodolite.
So I made my presentation. If you think
No,
it's
you
wrong,
haven't.
now you make your presentation, and
No,
then
you
you can
have not.
counter me.
No, you have not.
Go ahead, make your
Because
presentation.
for your presentation in air quotes, no presentation was made, but for the things you have stated to be true, you need a center point and a radius to measure the curve. You
Tell me
can't
why I can't
do
calculate a center point
You
and a
can't
radius.
do it using a theodolite
Tell me why I can't
and a
calculate
measuring
those
stick.
two things.
Because
Tell me
we're
why
not
I
talking
can't
about a
calculate those 2
calculate.
points.
We're not talking about a calculation. We are talking about a
You can't
measurement.
because you don't know how
Your
to do it.
claim
I
was
am.
a measurement, not a calculation. You cannot measure a curve using a theodolite. End of
Did
story.
I say that I was measuring the radius?
Yes. No, you said you were measuring a curve using a theodolite.
So why do I need the center point? Did I say I was measuring the center point?
You're so stupid. You are so stupid.
Then explain how I'm stupid. How can I not derive the center point from making those measurements?
Because you need the curve to derive the center point, you idiot.
Right, but I've measured the curve.
No, you haven't.
And now I
measured
can
the curve.
find the
You've
center point
calculated
by
the
using
curve.
2 chords,
You've
bisecting the 2
calculated
chords.
the curve, not measured it. You're such a fucking
How did I
retard.
calculate the curve? What did I do to calculate the curve?
You tell me, but you haven't measured it.
No, you just told me I calculated the curve. So how did I calculate the curve?
You didn't measure it because you
What did I
can't
do?
measure it.
What did I do?
You tell me. I don't know. How did you?
You
how
just
did
told
you
me
get
I
your curve?
calculated the curve, genius.
And then you back engineered it so that you had a center point and a radius. But
I'm
you
not
need the
talking
you
about the
need the
center point,
center
the
point
radius.
and the
You are.
radius to get your curve.
Do I need a
Why
center
are
point and a
you-
radius to get the elevation?
Oh, you're such a
Tell me how
muppet.
you do it, DP.
You are
Tell me how you
such
do
a
it.
muppet. You can't
What tools
measure
are
a
you gonna
curve.
use?
You can't measure a curve with a theodolite. Simple.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What tools would you use?
You can't measure a curve using a theodolite. End
Awesome. It's
of
now your
story.
turn to go. Awesome. It's your turn to make your presentation. I'm done with mine. You make yours, and then I'll ask you questions about you.
Your claim
I won't
was
interrupt.
your okay. You promise? Shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
then.
Okay.
Your claim was that you can measure a curve using a theodolite. I said, no, you can't. Don't be stupid. You said, yes, I can. Guess what? You can't measure a curve using a theodolite. The end.
Okay. I'll assume you're right. What tools do you use to measure the curve?
I don't care. But your claim was you can measure a curve using a theodolite.
Actually, it was the other way around. You claimed that you couldn't use a theodolite to measure the curve, and I said, yes, you can. So go ahead and tell me how you would measure the curve.
You claimed. Why have
Are
you
you
got
gonna answer a
half? Why
question
have
I
you got
didn't
halfway
ask?
through this debate and then changed
There's no debate
the
here,
claim?
dummy.
You're
There's
10
no
minutes
debate
in,
here.
and all of a sudden you've changed the claim.
There is no debate here.
Your
You
claim
have not
was
presented. Are you going to interrupt me the entire time?
yeah, because you're so fucking stupid that you don't listen.
How do debates work? Let's start there. That is a kindergarten question. Go ahead.
You can't measure a curve using
I did
a
not know
theodolite.
that's how debate works. That's good to know that that's how debate works, by not measuring curves with the theodolite. Good to know. Step one of a debate. What's
No,
step
well
two?
done. You've just admitted it.
Okay,
Just
what's
admit.
step two? Step
He's
two of
just
a debate is
conceded.
what?
Job
Yeah.
done.
What's
He's just
step two of the
conceded.
debate, DP?
He's just conceded, Bev. Debate's over.
Well, no, I've conceded that's how a debate works. So go
No,
ahead. What's step two
You
of the
just said
debate?
you can't
What
measure
was
a
the
curve
debate?
using
Wasn't
a
the debate
theodolite.
whether you could measure a curve with a theodolite?
Yeah.
No,
Wasn't-
actually, the
That
debate
was his
was
claim.
he says you can't do it. So now he needs to present his side.
Chunky Butt Boy, how do you measure curvature? Tell us, brilliant genius. Go ahead.
I already did. I'm asking you.
No,
Obviously, you think I'm wrong. So you're
no, you didn't say anything.
really.
You didn't say anything. How do you
I
measure
didn't say
curve?
anything.
Come on, say it. How do you measure curve? Do it.
With a theodolite and a grade rod, how do you
No.
measure curve?
You don't measure curve. It's a metric.
You don't measure curve.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Welcome to
Bev,
Flutter.
you don't measure
Well done.
curve.
Well done.
Bev, you don't measure a curve when you survey.
I've never measured a curve. No, you measure a vertical distance above a horizontal line of sight.
Right, so roads don't curve. I'm actually going around a curve on a road now. That's left to right curve.
Don't conflate elevation with curvature. My God.
Okay, well, in a minute, I'm going to go over a hill. Is that a curve or is that a straight line?
How
Oh
would
my
you
God.
measure it, please?
Oh my God! What is the answer to that question? Is it a curve or a straight line?
How would
A
you
hill?
measure the curve, please?
I don't know what a curve is. I need to know: is a hill a curve or is it a straight line?
He's a waste. He's an idiot.
Wow.
Yeah,
you don't
good
know.
answer.
You don't know if a hill's a straight line or a curve.
No, you don't know because you don't seem to
No,
be answering. My answer
listen.
is yes,
look,
a hill is a curve.
a theodolite is like an optical device. You look through it and establishes a straight line of vision. Now then, you
Right.
put a grade rod in front of that at a point anywhere, right? You need to know where that point is first. And then
Right.
you measure a vertical height above, right? So a distance away from that horizontal line that you've set with your theodolite, I presume. Right, then you
Grade 0,
measure a vertical height from the horizontal. Now, is that a curve,
It depends what we're.
or is
measuring.
it just
If we're
a
measuring
vertical height from the horizontal?
Dear, oh dear.
Oh, at 1 point? No, 1 point is not a curve.
Okay, then, well, then you move to a different point. Now, you are measuring a vertical height from a horizontal at a different point. Is that the curve?
It depends on how it's plotted.
Okay, so
You need to measure several points.
No, we're talking about the individual point, not the
No,
accumulation.
point is
the
not a
actual
curve.
measurement that you
Like-
look through, right? That measurement to a point. Is that ever a curve?
No, it's a point.
So you never actually measure a curve then, do you?
Oh, okay. So you can't
Well
measure
done,
a curve.
Thank
on
you.
a road.
Butt boy finally.
Chunky
gets
Butt
it.
Boy, who has ever measured curvature? Show me a curved topographical map. Can you do that?
Who are you?
I'm your boss.
Oh, hi. What time's work start tomorrow?
I don't know. You sound like Brenda. I'm not really sure who you are. Come on.
Good for you.
Come
What's
on.
your
Show me a curved topographical map. Show me any documented, recorded curvature ever. Go ahead.
So
He can't. He's in his
we're not
car.
talking about topographical maps, are we?
We're talking about curvature, a concept that you think you can measure.
Right.
Are you
and
lost?
curvature exists in the real world.
In what
And
real world?
curvature
Where?
exists,
Show me. Show me.
on roads.
How do you measure that curvature using a theodolite, butt boy?
I already explained it. How do you measure curvature using?
No, you
Already
haven't.
explained it.
We have told
Okay.
you that you
All right.
measure 2 points. You don't measure curve, do you?
Well, you measure many points, but sure. That'd be a
And
nice
to
day
each
if only
of
having to
to
measure
each
2
of
points.
those points, there is no curve.
Chunky Butt Boy,
Who's that?
write this down, will you? Write this down. Differential leveling. Okay, go and Google that when you're not driving. Maybe you can learn something.
So you're saying curves? Are you trying to say that curves don't exist in real life? I'm going over a hill right now. That's not curves.
Oh, this looks so
Whoa,
stupid.
dude,
Can you
who's
answer the
this?
question? Is this too hard for you? You always say,
Oh.
"Wow, oh my God," when you get cornered. It's a
Dude.
simple question because you
Dude.
guys are idiots.
You
But
are
Bev,
a
you know the
prick.
Earth is a globe, so you're on.
Dude,
Oh,
you've just
prick.
asked us if we
That's a
don't
good one.
think
Can you answer
curves
the
fucking
question?
exist.
Right. So how do you measure them?
You're the one
What
that's
tools
telling
do you use,
us. We've just told you
Yeah, and
can't
So
measure
let's pretend
a
I have
curve.
it wrong. Let's
What's
pretend
the
I have
device
it
that you have
wrong.
that you've got?
Hang on. Chunky, look, you have claimed that you can measure curves, right? So
Yeah.
off you go. Tell us
Okay.
how.
So you know what? For 5 minutes, I'm going to say I don't know how. Please tell me. Go ahead.
Oh my
Yeah, but
God.
It was your claim that you
Oh my
can measure
God.
curves.
Oh my God! He wants me to answer questions. Oh my God!
Chunky, it was your claim that curves can be measured.
Actually,
off
no.
you
It was your
go.
claim that they can't be measured. Go ahead.
And I've told you that they can't be measured using a theodolite. You've claimed that they can be measured, and we would like
Okay,
you to
explain.
explain how.
Okay, and I tried, and obviously I failed to get through to you. So you tell me what tools you would use to measure the curve of the hill I'm going over on the road.
Wouldn't be a theodolite. So
What
you
would it be?
you
tell us
still
how
on
you
that same
measure
hill?
curve.
My boss. Tell me what it would be. Because actually,
Are
my
you
boss
still
has
on the same
experience in
hill?
surveying.
What kind of car are you driving, man?
Dude, he's on a
No,
push
I'm on
bike.
several hills. I'm on different hills. I live in a hilly.
So you
part
went
of the world.
down too. So is the
Uh-huh.
Earth curving backwards now? How do you measure that?
How do you measure that?
Well, I already told you. I'll tell you again. You want to hear it again?
Okay, go.
Deviation from your horizontal plane can give you elevation changes with the technique called differential leveling.
And since your theodolite gives you a horizontal plane and your grade rod tells you the differentiation,
At
what are you doing?
point, you can't measure a curve at a point, at a singular.
Sorry, my boss, I didn't say you use one. I said you take multiple measurements.
Oh, I'm your boss now. Okay.
No, my boss said that.
I'm the boss of you.
No, you have no employees, DP.
I'm the boss of you.
If you
So,
take-
Chunky Butt Boy, what are you
Zero
confused
employees.
about? You think somebody's measured the curvature of the Earth?
You just told me you use differential elevation to measure a curve. What is a
Use
theodolite?
Differential
grade rod measure?
leveling to measure elevation. Quit conflating curvature with elevation.
I asked you how to measure curve. What did you say?
Nobody measures curve. Nobody's ever measured curve. You can't measure curve. It's a concept.
Curves don't exist in reality. They're a concept.
Elevation exists.
Wow. You know what? That kindergarten question was too hard for you guys. I got about 5 minutes. What do you want to talk
You're-
about?
You're just a triggered globehead. You're angry because somebody stole your ball from you, man.
No, because you don't understand that curves exist in reality. Roads don't.
Oh my
curve.
God, you don't understand. Boy, that's
Oh my
the
God.
last resort right there. That's all you got now.
You don't
You just said.
understand fallacy.
Hey, my boss. Did you just say curves exist or only a concept?
The Earth curvature of the sphere is a concept. It's never been measured ever by
Okay,
no
for
one.
this, when have I said Earth curvature?
You said curves.
Right. So now I'm going over a different hill. This one is curved.
Oh, you're not running into a flesh wall. That's good. That would be
Hold on
bad.
a second. Do you distinguish between a curve and a slope? Because
Yes.
you're saying hills are curved.
They are at the top.
They're curved.
He's just
at the
playing
top.
a semantics game.
He's just
Yeah,
being
they
an
have
idiot.
they have to go
They're
from
slopes.
let's say positive 6% or 4% slope to the opposite on the other side.
Yeah,
So
it's
how do you
great, big
transition
deal. That
between
doesn't
positive-
prove curve.
Is it a gradual transition or is it abrupt? Does it go from positive 6 to negative 6 or positive 4 to negative 4, or does it have a
Do you know
a
the
point
difference
where it's
between a
3%?
slope and a curve?
Yeah. How do we measure
Like
slope?
like a
or-
bicycle ramp. Like, you know, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
when you were a kid, if you had a bicycle and you made a ramp, was that a slope or a curve?
Yeah, that was a slope.
You know, when you took a two.
Are we talking about a bicycle
piece
ramp
of
or are we talking
plywood?
about roads?
Okay, so how is a hill? Is a hill more like a bicycle ramp or more like an orange? Which do you
It's more
think
like
it's
a
more
hill.
like?
It's more like a
Yeah.
hill.
Right, it's more like a bicycle ramp, a slope, a straight
No, it's
slope.
more
Hang
like
on,
a hill
hang on.
that has a slope and then becomes a less severe slope and then becomes a slope in the opposite direction.
Yeah. A slope is a straight line.
We're getting away from his original claim,
Right.
which
And
was
you can
that
take-
you can use a theodolite to measure a curve, which you cannot do.
So what would you do? I have 5 minutes. You said it would take 5 to 10 minutes. You have 5.
Well,
How would you measure the
I
curve?
was done within
Chunky
10.
Butt Boy, why are you arguing from ignorance? You have no clue. You're here asking questions. Do you think that makes you look smart?
Do you think not answering questions make you look smart?
Just makes you look like a retard, Chunky.
Okay, so explain how to do it.
How to do what? Measure a curve?
Measure
You've
a
been
curve,
told.
yeah.
You can't.
He's all yours, primate.
No, I
Oh,
can't.
Dude, I'm
You
done
can't.
with him. I was done with him 10 minutes after he got it.
See, I didn't realize it was what can't domesticated primate understand. If it was what can't you understand, I don't have enough time.
That's so stupid.
Oh, he's such an idiot.
Oh, okay, the guy that just talked with the American accent, how do you measure a curve?
He's already told you you can't.
I think I've told you 3
you're-
times.
Your
Yeah.
claim
He's
was
saying,
that you can use a theodolite to measure a curve. You've not explained how you do that.
I can't. You can't.
There you go. It sounds like
How
you've
do
come in
you
here to
measure a
find
curve?
out how to get how to measure a
Bev?
curve.
How
It
do you
does sound
measure a
like you've
curve
asked
with
it
a hill?
loads of times. I mean, you've come in here to supposedly tell us how to measure a curve, and yet you seem to have said, "How do you measure a curve?" lots of times.
How does a debate work, Bev?
First of all, you decide what the debate's going to be about, right?
Yeah, okay. Very
Okay.
good. We're agreeing.
Yep. So, what was this particular debate about, Chunky?
A theodolite can't be used to measure a curve.
It
Step
can't
2.
be used to measure a curve.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was
We
that.
got
Yeah,
that.
that
We
was
got
well
that,
done.
DP. I'm
Are you
talking
saying
to
the
Bev.
curve?
Yeah.
So your claim,
Step 2, Bev.
you debunked your own claim.
Okay.
We're talking about a debate now. Step 2, Bev.
You debunked your own claim.
Yeah. Well,
You
we've
need to
sorted.
concede.
We've sorted it. Yes.
So how does a debate work, Bev?
You structure it properly, don't you? Is that what you think this is? Is this a debate?
Oh, sorry. What channel was I on?
Well, yeah. You're talking to us in the live streamer channel at the minute. Why? What do you think it is?
Oh, and we set it up on the debate.
Okay.
Why don't you,
All
change,
right,
why don't you
did
get
ya?
Emma to change the name to
Okay,
You
so-
Guys Don't Answer Question?
Well, what about debates in cars? Debates whilst driving cars, so you don't ever have to support any information.
Okay. Did you support any information?
I'm
How do you measure
I'm just
curve,
moderating this at the minute.
Yeah, but you're the expert in you what took this in grade 12? So
Pardon?
how do you measure a curve?
What's that?
You're a licensed surveyor,
What's
aren't you?
grade 12? What's that?
That's what we call it here. What do you call it?
I don't know. What I don't know. It's like you've told me. You've just said grade
think
12.
he's-
I've not got a
he's
clue what you're talking
He's
about.
talking about a slope, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
It's
That's
maybe sandpaper.
Mm.
Grade 12 sandpaper grade.
A curve has an infinite number of slopes, and you measure at a given tangent to a point.
And
of fixed.
like to address your question, I'm not
Let's calculate.
a licensed surveyor. I never have claimed to be a licensed surveyor, but I
measure-
have said I have a surveying qualification.
And
Okay,
he's
so how
also
do you
just
measure a
mentioned
curve,
a
Beth?
tangent for which he needs a centre point and a radius to form his circle to give him that tangent. So
No, you don't.
again,
Use
you lose, Chunky.
How do you measure a curve?
You getting out of your car?
Yeah, I'm checking the mail. How do you measure a curve?
How do I measure a curve? Was your claim that you can measure curve, and then now
Indeed it
you've
was.
come here
No.
to ask
Indeed it
us
was.
how we do what you claim that you were going to do
Yeah,
in the first place?
A
Is that
debate works by me presenting my side, then you presenting your side, which you have yet to answer a single question.
But you know, you just keep asking
Then
us how to measure a curve when we've said you
You
can't.
can't.
Yeah, because it's time
And
for you
your
to
claim
present your
was that
side.
you can.
Yeah,
measure a curve
that was
using
your
a
claim.
theodolite.
So you need to tell me how you do measure a curve.
You can't.
You can't measure a curve using any tool
You
whatsoever.
fucking retard. You can't.
Can you fly a plane?
You're done
But
now,
some
Chunky,
people can.
aren't you?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
done.
some people
You're
can
really
fly planes.
finished now.
Have you got
You're
home?
You can't
clutching at
measure a
straws.
curve because you don't know how, but other people do.
You're
for example,
clutching at
Jessica Love.
straws, Chunky. See ya,
No, I don't think so. Bye.
idiot.
See you later, Chunky. We'll have a discussion
noted.
about how little you know. Are you staying online? Are you staying in there? You going in your house, being brave? You staying
Wait a
on?
minute. It's not about bravery.
Oh, well, you're going to give us some drawings or stuff to
No,
back
it's,
you.
it's not. It's not about bravery. It's about your stupidity, Chunky.
You don't even know how to
you've
debate
just
words.
proved, you've just
Two
proven
seconds,
how
guys.
stupid you are.
The guy that said, "Can you summarise your point now, please?"
So why don't you go ahead and present your side, and I'll sign out, and then I'll listen to it tomorrow.
I've
Have a good
presented
one,
my
guys.
side. You can't. Your claim that you can measure a curve using a theodolite is impossible. It can't be done. Therefore, you lose. The end. Is he gone?
Yeah, it is. Seems like he has. Right. Well, I'll say now. Right. If you were to have an auto lever or theodolite or whatever, you'd say, like Cleary said, differential leveling.
Mm-hmm.
What you'd need to do is, though, you need to know where the rod is, the measuring rod, right? So you need, first of all, you need to be able to plot out on the land like a map of where you're going to be measuring and plotting your points. Then you would lay out some sort of a grid reference, and you would go to every one of those points on that grid, like, you label it A to Z or whatever, and 1 to 10, and you go along the line A1 to 10 points along that thing, and you put your measuring rod and you'd plot all of the points on that, and you do that for the entire grid. Now, depending on how accurate you want it to be, you'd make your grid tighter or
yeah.
and then you
So.
just link the points like they do with a contour line, and you would see the layout of the grade of the land, the different elevations, and you'd be able to plot what you wanted to do with the manipulation of the...
But at the end of the day, you cannot measure a curve using a theodolite, which was his claim.
Yeah, you'd be all you would be doing in that case would be measuring horizontal positions of the land.
And plotting points along that linear line of the site of the theodolite.
Yeah. And then if you were to do it as a normal plan thing, you would see a contour line, but that would just be a horizontal slice of the land, right? That contour line that you see on a map is a horizontal slice. That's not a curve. It's a line of all of the points have the same horizontal elevation distance.
Yeah.
So the only way you'd be able to actually look at the curve would be to do a side elevation sort of shot, and then you could plot those points. But again, depending on how accurate you were, you would only be plotting a straight line from a point to a point. You wouldn't be drawing a curve there.
No.
You'd just be doing a straight line, because you don't know what the grade of the curve is. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I didn't understand actually what he was trying to say anyway. I mean, like, he's talking about, like, plotting or measuring, calculating, or like, taking a star from a horizontal point and getting some measurements. And it's like, well, what is that? What are you trying to say? I don't get what the relevance is to the shape of the world.
His claim was that you can measure a curve using a theodolite and a grade stick. And I said, no, you can't.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know, I get it, but I'm just saying I don't know what how does he think it was ever going to be? He's going to plot some lines. Then he started talking about hills and I'm not going up a hill, and it's just like, what? I don't.
It's perception, isn't it? I've had them showing me that. I mean, if that hill was a straight line, a straight road up a hill, then they would say it's a straight line. But it would be going up a hill. They'd want it to curve in one scenario and not in another. And it's
got no relevance on what he's saying about it, because he's referring to the curvature as the curvature of the Earth.
I think so. He wants to conflate that afterwards, doesn't he? He wants to slide it in.
Yeah, that was the thing, That was going to be my next point. If he got to actually telling us how he would measure a curve with using a theodolite, my next point was going to be, well, what distance is a theodolite accurate over?
Well, don't be giving too much away, because we're still recording. We're just recapping now, right? So we can put it out, so we can hear how ridiculous what he was saying actually is. Because I think, personally, I mean, he was doing the same as what Jesse Kozlowski did the other day. You've got 2 points, you're looking from A to B along a straight line using a tool that's got a horizontal line of sight, and saying, measuring curvature, that. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to hear somebody say it, but I mean, I bet most people hear them saying that and think, yeah, of course you can measure curvature.
You're measuring drop to a point, and that is a straight line drop.
What did Belu call it, Clary? What was that? The tilt.
Is that where tilt comes from?
I think so. Belu was teaching. I mean, like, all of these, they might all have had a word with Belu about the tilt. He might have confused them into thinking that it's actually curvature.
They might have confused each other into thinking that Belu's real.
Well, if Jesse's been talking to him, Jesse and Jesse and George and Soundly, I think it was.
Mental. Absolutely mental. So how long was he in here for?
We've got 50 minutes on the clock at the minute.
Well, I said to him that it would only take me 10.
Well, I was pretty much finished it in 10, and then the rest of the time was him asking you how he would measure the curvature. Or in fact, he asked everyone, didn't he?